Yeah, so tell us about that. So I know you and I just chatted, but kind of go through your whole I mean, not the bad parts of your sale experience because I don't want to badmouth anybody, but just explain like the website and what all you were doing there, as much as you can.
Sure, it was a 1 year old website. It's actually public, astrogrowth.com. And I just really like the talking about entrepreneurship in general. I like playing with a lot of software tools, like these kind of weird things that only online entrepreneurs and business owners can really understand. And I just like writing about it. So I started a blog, and I realized that I didn't want to be the face of the blog. So I transferred out all of the content to astrogrowth.com as a domain. And after a year, I realized that um, I was done with it. Like all the main things that I could have done myself, I have done them. All of the low hanging fruits mostly, and really the best person to grow the business from there was a person that had more resources and perhaps more experience in entrepreneurship. And it seems like I found the perfect new owner for this, because it's a very experienced entrepreneur. He has the resources and is very determined to actually bring it up to the next level. So hopefully I'm happy if he's happy.
Yeah. So where did you feel like your skills kind of left off? Like what did you feel like you were lacking to continue growing the business?
It's a very interesting question. Last year, I realized that I wanted to focus and I needed to focus just 100% onto SEO, because that's where my previous work experiences were in. And also, SEO is a word in itself. And if I had to think about products and all of these other things, it would have been very hard to scale. I started this website right after university, so I didn't have that much resources on my own. If I would have had a team, perhaps it would have been easier, or if I would have been more determined to grow this to the next level. But overall, I'm happy with that, because I learned so much. It was my first experience growing a bigger site, so-called authority site. Before I was doing more niche sites, and I don't want to get into the terminology, but web in the industry, we know where we're talking about when authority and niche site.
Yeah.
And I learned just so much, and I also made a lot of mistakes that I'm not gonna repeat, for sure, because they hurt it me directly. So yeah, I think someone with a product experience would bring this to the next level. And literally, this new owner is a well-known name in the product marketing space. So I think perfect fit, like 100% perfect fit. Yeah, I'm not really a product guy, at least not right now. I just want to focus on SEO, bring it, like becoming high level, world class, perhaps on that. Um, Hard to say when you got there, but yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's true. So you said you've done like niche sites and authority sites. Which ones do you prefer? First off, what would you say is the difference? This is a good question.
Sure. So on each side, it's a much more focused website. It could be also related to just one product, like one specific kind of supplement. It could be either boxing gloves, um, or and let's say if you an authority site is a website that talks about all kinds of boxing and combat sports and martial arts and all of these topics that are somehow related by the combat sport broader niche. But yeah, a niche site is just one.
Yeah. So which one do you prefer?
Good question. Like six months ago, I would have said an authority side. Right now, I'm more about niche sites, because I just like the fact that they are focused and easier to control and manage in a certain way. You cannot really mess up the silos and all of these other things. I'm continuing to do both niche sites and authority right now. For the authority, I've partnered up with a great guy. It's called Yanni. He's been doing great things in the German space. So he's helping me not to do too many mistakes on this time with an authority side. But for the niche sites, I just want to freaking master this thing so that eventually I can then grow to a bigger authority site, perhaps, if I would like to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think niche sites are underrated. Like people get all hard for authority sites, but the reality is like an authority site is really difficult. We're running into this with BrandBuilders right now, where we're doing a lot of content, producing a ton of content. We've just come out with several new products. Like we did our content offerings. So now we're writing much better content for like affiliate sites or AdSense sites or whatever. But then we also just came out with like e-commerce sites. And the problem we're running into is that we have this list of 5 figures worth of people. And we know that they're all interested in making money online. But it's very difficult to segment and say like, okay, we know you guys are interested in affiliate marketing and you guys are interested in e-commerce. And what's happening is like we're sending every offer to our entire list. And if it's an affiliate offer, we're taking off the e-commerce people. If it's an e-commerce offer, we're taking off the affiliate people. So, and then there's some people who are like, yeah, I'd love to listen to your podcast. And people are like, no, I like to read the blog. So it's an authority site is, especially in the email list, it can be really difficult to segment. Whereas like if you have a niche site about, use the example of boxing gloves, like dude, it's so easy. Like they want to know about boxing gloves. That's it.
Dude, I can understand 100% the struggle. So yeah, I thought it was it lagged a little bit. No, I can understand 100% what you mean. It's just overrated, perhaps, but yes, it differs. You know what I realized? Everyone has his own style of creating these websites. If I look at the website that was created by a certain SEO, I can pretty much tell who this guy is, even if I don't know the website. It's everyone has his own style, also mixing content and monetization, and it's good like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so you're focusing on both right now. So you're building niche sites and authority sites right now.
Yep. Mainly niche sites at the moment. Also because I believe that it's better to start an authority site from a more focused niche site, because eventually you gain that topical relevancy and you can then reinvest and have a baseline of income coming in every month. It's just hard. It's just easier initially to get that topical relevancy that Google understands. Okay, this site is about this specific topic. And about the authority sites, I'm testing a lot of things. That's the thing about me. I try to run as many experiments as I can afford. Been doing some testing with expired domains lately. A lot of stuff in the Italian space, because I realize I'm Italian and there are a lot of untapped opportunities. Right now, hard to define the ones that are building in the US. Hard to say. One is definitely a niche site. It's just run a certain kind of health supplement. Another one is kind of related to products, but it's more of an authority one. Hard to define. Let's not get too obsessed about the definition. It's more about the results at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah. So you mentioned turning a niche site into an authority site. So are you saying like start as a niche site and then like move to the authority site model, or what did you have in mind there?
So that's something I haven't done yet, but it's something that I realized that I might as well would have done it last year when I started Astro Growth, where I expanded onto too many topics too quickly. That was a big mistake. It's something that the guys at Authority Hacker talks a lot. It's the same mistake that they have done on Health Ambition. And it's always easy to understand when somebody else tells you, yeah, I've done this mistake, until you do it yourself. And it's like, oh my God, now I get it. Just expanding onto too many topics. And was hard for Google to understand to what the site was relevant about. And so eventually, I was listening Matt Diggity saying that it's okay to start with 3 different silos and see what sticks. I'm with my authority side. I'm going the bigger authority side that I'm building right now. I'm actually publishing a ton of stuff just because they are somewhat related, and in this case, it was already proven in the German market, and we are just transponding it in the Italian market. So hybrid, I would be more careful surely to topical relevancy on page and technical internal linking, and these are relevant things that I didn't understand much because my experience and expertise is more about link building, and off-page side.
Yeah, I think topical relevance is huge. And then I like the idea of taking a niche site and moving it into an authority site. Like that's appealing to me for a couple of reasons. So one, I think it's much easier to stay focused on a niche site, and because of topical relevance, I'm not a black belt in SEO, right? Like, so take this with a little grain of salt. My experience is really in online marketing in general and in sales. So I'm pretty good at SEO, but not black belt. But I think topical relevance is huge. I just think it's enormous. And then,
So much.
yeah.
And also, if you see the latest update from Google, it was authority relevant. So the site with big authority came in, like Healthline and all of these sites went to the roof in the first page. But at the same time, you see lots of micro niche sites that are still ranking because they have this massive relevancy. So I do think with the bigger, like with this switch of Google towards more and more authority, that I think is going to continue, because Google has a lot to lose right now in terms of who they are referring to. There is a lot of pressure on high tech for the election things and influences and so on. After Cambridge Analytica, there has started a lot of pressure on these big tech companies. So I think micro niche sites, perhaps with some good authority in the niche, some very high relevant backlinks, will continue to work fantastically well. That's my opinion about the future of what is going to happen, but perhaps I'm wrong.
Interesting. I think it's interesting that you and I are both saying, like, yeah, hey, niche sites are a big deal. And it's not just us. So I was chatting with Mark Webster this last week, from Authority Hacker. And I asked him, the podcast might be up by the time I publish this one. It probably will be. And I just asked him, like, hey, niche versus authority, which one do you pick? And he's like, well, in the past we would have said authority, but nowadays we're really liking niche sites, like these really hyper specific, narrow sites. Like it's funny how things cycle. Like it was niche sites, and then now it was authority sites, and now it's like sort of trending back that way.
I know. I was listening to their podcast saying you can actually make a lot of money with just a very small site, and I didn't get it until I had a very small site making $500 a month, and I was like, dude, I spent so much more time and resources because big sites are expensive.
Yeah.
Like just the issues that come up, what the heck? Like technical SEO issues, you gotta just track a lot of pages. Unless you are a big team or you have more resources, I would have been way more wary. If I had to go back, I would have told myself, dude, calm down. Just do some more niche sites, and you can really nail down how to build up the structure of a website, the architecture, and get better at the skill set for doing it. And after that, getting an authority site is much easier. Yeah.
So if you could go back, you would start smaller as opposed to something bigger.
100%, yes.
Gotcha. So yeah, let's talk about your link building, because you mentioned this to me before, but we've never dived into it. So you said your expertise is in link building. That's what you're good at.
Yeah, definitely. Because I started doing SEO when it was practically just link building. You had to stuff a bunch of keywords and then get this exact match domain. It was 2007, 2008. And so I kept doing just link building for the sites, and I actually managed to get understand a little bit the on-page side of things and technical just recently, because out of necessity, because my website was struggling because of that. Yeah, my link building is plainly simple. It's practically what the Gazette Authority hacker teaches teaching at their in their courses.
People are going to think we're like affiliates of, or they sponsored this podcast or something.
Yeah.
We don't get paid if you say.
Yeah, they have some great stuff.
We should.
Link building related, they have the best processes out there. And look, it's easy at the end of the day. You just gotta do a lot of it. And I think what people get wrong, sometimes I get people reaching out to me from Facebook, SEO related Facebook groups, and they ask me, did you get so many backlinks? How did you get mentions on TechRadar, all of these big sites? And I'm like, just do the outreach. And after 1 month, the same person reached out to me again, telling me, hey dude, so can you explain me a bit better how to do the outreach? And I'm like, there are like a thousand tutorials on the web on how to do it. Just do it. Start sending the emails. What are you afraid of? And yeah, you do the outreach, you start to get better at it. I understand it's not the nicest thing in the world, but it's all about building relationships. And after a while, it's like, okay. Also, it's easy if one of your competitors is likely doing guest posting. So just look at your competitor and see which website got a guest post from them, and just reach out to those sites. And it's like, okay, you got it, because they will likely accept your guest post too. So it's already done. Like, you don't have to do fancy things. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and you're really good at this. Like, you're probably the best I've ever met at this. Like, dude, you just build links like a machine. Like, when I first noticed, so there have been 2 points in my life when I've been like, Angelo can build some serious freaking links. The first was when you got a guest post on Flippa. I was like, who gets a guest post on Flippa? You know, this is when they weren't really blogging a whole lot, and they for sure weren't taking many guest posts. It's like, how did he do that? And I asked, and you're just like, well, I just asked. and then it was something on Richard Patey's emails where you got a mention or you did something. I don't remember what it was, but
yeah, it was actually mentioning the guest post on Flip.
Okay, was it? Okay. I feel like there was something else though. I don't know.
No, not in that case.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, that month I got some really powerful backlinks, I have to say. Like, I got Jeff Bullas, Matthew Woodward, that was on your podcast as well. But the thing is, I just really tried a lot of things, and I got so many things wrong. Because the secret of SEO, not being afraid of failing. There are so many uneducated people that are doing SEO and they are killing it, and it's fantastic because it's okay to be analytical, and perhaps the people who really get to a very high level are very analytical, like they are often an engineer or with a background in finance. But it's just a matter of doing a lot of things, because things move quickly, and oftentimes that's something real in life. Because when I got started when I was 13, I started ranking first page for video games review in Italy, and I was ranking all of these big companies that literally were doing this for a living, while I was trying to get an hour or two every day to focus on this website. Because high school, my professor, my parents were like, don't waste your time doing this stuff. And the reason is that I just did it. I was like, when people weren't responding to me, I was cold calling them, and I didn't have any certification, expertise, or that. I didn't have the voice of an adult. I still had the voice of a kid. And it's just, I realized if you don't get, there are so many opportunities out there, and it's like the too analytical person, sometimes the most intelligent person is thinking, oh, perhaps if I take all of this money that is in front of me, something will happen. Or, well, if I do this, then this will happen. And it's like, then a completely ignorant person, perhaps even stupid or whatever you want, comes in and just takes all of the money, and it's like, oh, that was easy. That's life.
Mm. Mm. Do you have like a? You mentioned not being afraid of failure. Do you have like a favorite failure of yours?
So many. Yeah, I would say my favorite is when I started. So after I sold my first website in Italian, I started university. I won a scholarship in a very good university, and I wasn't very unsure on what to do next. So it was a great experience, by the way. One in college, I realized that I wanted to get back into the niche site world and content sites world. And I just talked with one of my best friends who was studying in English. I didn't know English that well as I know it right now, which is not perfect yet, though.
You speak better English than I do.
Sorry?
You speak better English than I do.
That's not true at all. If there is a person who speaks better English than me, it's you.
So hold on, so you're from Italy. You speak Italian, English, and then you told me you speak German as well?
No, not yet. My girlfriend is German, and she pressures me like crazy to learn how to speak German, but not yet. I don't have time, honestly.
Yeah.
Just get really focused and yeah.
What do you speak when you're with your girlfriend?
I speak English with her, yeah.
Oh, wow. So both of you speak to each other in a second or third language?
Yeah, this is the second language is English.
That's rude. I can't imagine that.
That was my motivation to learn English. Like first year of university, I was like, I was in Milan, very international city, and I was like, oh my god, there were so many hot girls that were foreign girls, and I was like, I gotta learn this English thing. God, the rest I cannot speak with them. And perhaps after 3 years, I met my girlfriend.
Yeah. I speak English, Spanish, Portuguese, and then I'm working on French. And I can say the best language learning tip I have for someone is find someone attractive who speaks that language and start talking to them.
Look, it's not politically correct. It's not something you could say at a dinner, and sometimes people will look badly at you. But it is what it is. Like that's the motivation of like the pyramid of Maslow. After survival there is reproduction. So you might as well use this force as a way to build up things or improve yourself.
Yeah, it's worked for me, and it seems to be working for you.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, but the failure, like I will be quick. It was that we started this site in a very competitive niche in the US, and I didn't know what I was doing because I was doing SEO in Italy, and it was much easier. And SEO changed a lot. That was the time when PBNs were huge, and I didn't even know what a PBN was back then. So we got into very competitive niche. We completely not completely. We failed, but it was great because it got me back into the game and got me to realize, whoa, that's what I want to do. Let's do this. Let's figure out how to.
Nice. That's pretty amazing. That's cool. Like a failure brings you back. So, what was the actual failure there, though?
Yeah, the website wasn't successful. I actually sold it for $99 on Flippa.
Gotcha.
Big success for like 6 months of work.
Yeah, okay. That's a failure. Gotcha. That clarifies things. Nice, man. Yeah, so what's your current portfolio looking like? So, I mean, we talked a bit about this, like without getting into the niches and anything like that. Like, I know you said niche sites, authority sites. What's the end goal? Like, how are you monetizing those, getting traffic, all that?
Sure. So right now, I just started a lot of sites, micro niche sites. In Italy, I have digitale.co, which is a site reviewing VPNs, password managers, all this cyber security tech related stuff. It is a partnership with this friend of mine who has a very big site in the German speaking language market. In Italy, I just started 4 website about lots of different topics, like but mainly evergreen niches. Like another thing that I learned is there is nothing like evergreen niches, especially if you are more experienced in SEO. Like the conversion rate with health related stuff, it's on another level. Like money related things, like things that don't make people sleep at night, and that hopefully you can solve with by selling them a product. It's just on another level, and I'm just trying to focus more on that. It's complicated. Like competition is way more way higher on those niches, but I don't think it's I think it's worth it, because just one of my website in Italian, it's about sports gear, and like it gets a lot of traffic, but it gets less money than the health related side. So that's what I would personally do. Then everyone is different, and I do think I actually like health related things. I do have over here on my desk there are like 10 different supplements. I like supplements a lot. So and seeing more things about it. So it's okay to start a hobby related niche site. And yeah, regarding, I don't want to go on a tangent on this, but yeah, in English I now have these 2 sites. Hopefully these other websites will be sold successfully. I'm waiting for the escrow funds to be released. Pretty much that's it. 4 sites in Italian and 2 sites in English.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you're a more proponent of the kind of portfolio.
Yeah, so I'm trying to diversify. Look, diversify is risky. I think it's overrated oftentimes, because everyone that is beginning doing any entrepreneurial stuff usually has a little bit ADHD, even if it's not certified. Like, because usually people who are entrepreneurial, there are people who are coming up with a lot of ideas all the time, and these are the producers. They are different from the operators, like performers on a company. So if you get a lot of ideas, it's very easy to justify that by saying, "Oh yeah, I'm just diversifying." But I realize it's so hard to say, easier said than done, but it's better to freaking focus. So right now that I sold this website, I was like, okay, let's diversify. And I think it's okay to run 2-3 big sites. In this case, they are more in my case, but they are very small. Like some of them are just one product related. So at a certain point, I'm even gonna hit the moment when I touch every single topic around that thing. So yeah, 2-3 sites is best, but somehow more. It depends.
Yeah. So if you think 2 to 3 sites is best, how did you get started with like 6?
Yeah, I said I will count them as 3 combined, because they're just, some of them they're just very small, and some of them I'm just keeping them to make them age, so that when I sell one of those sites, like I usually in my head I will try to sell and flip one of each side after one year and a half after I build them up. So that's what I'm looking for. In the meanwhile, if I have another site that is already aged, it's just easier to get it from there, because Google is already somehow trusting it. It's outside the sandbox, which I think it would be great. By the way, speaking of brand builders, making a little bit of an advertisement.
Oh, bring it.
Ad, that what you call it. It's an ad, like it reminds me of South Park. Like it's interesting for a person who has more money than time to perhaps get a website on BrandBuilders and just eventually leave it there while you're working on another main site. so that after you have sold or you're just bored from the other side, or that side reach a level where you can outsource most of the work, you can just get on the other side and it's already there, possibly already monetizing it. So yeah.
Yeah, just let it age, get it out of the sandbox. Build some links if you can, really kind of help things along. But dude, even that, like the sandbox is brutal, right? And I understand Google's motivation in doing it. I almost think it's a silly policy because people who are dedicated SEOs can get around it. Like you just buy a domain and let it age. Like that's it, you know?
Yeah, but also, I mean, the biggest reason is that Google can be rough. Like I've seen websites that are perfect in terms of SEO that got penalized by, not penalized, their traffic decreased after an algorithm update, and it's like, what the heck happened? So because I've been doing SEO for a while, I'm like, I might as well diversify a little bit more with these other sites that are ready to be pushed if I need them eventually. But yeah, the biggest focus is on 2 to 3, especially the ones with the highest potential. So
Okay, interesting. Good to know then. So so how long have you had these sites?
they're pretty young because I decided to sell this main website like 3 months ago, 4 months ago. And I was already thinking about it before. So back then I had already started digitale.co, this website in Italian. So I had like these 2 main ones that I was working on, but mainly was the other one because I wanted to fix everything possible before the sale, so that I could have given a good asset to the buyer. Then I had this very small site in the sports gear niche in Italian, and that was it. And after May's algorithm update, I was like, I need to diversify, and I just started to diversify a lot. And I started all of these other sites just because, look, for an SEO, it's still like Google 2 years ago in the US. So much easier in a way. So
Really?
I realized I'm killing myself just only competing in the US market. I might use my Italian nativeness. Can you even say that?
Yeah. Yeah, you can add nest to anything in English and it makes sense.
To make some money. So the bad thing of the Italian sites is that it's very hard to sell them. So there is nothing like Flippa, Empire Flippers. There is no liquidity in the market. It's very, very hard. So I think I'm a flipper in a way. Like I'm always look for the outcome. It's just the way how I prefer to doing things. Yeah, that's why I don't just go in the Italian market. Also because it would be a bit boring in terms of challenge.
Interesting. So you do so well that it's boring.
You have no idea I have no idea. It's literally like after you are used to the US market, especially in a competitive niche like this side hustle in the software make money online. In the Italian market, it's like I build links to very like huge sites with just a normal skyscraper outreach. Now I'm gonna attract a lot of competition out of this after this podcast in the Italian market. It's the same for every market. You can go in the Spanish one, French, German, even, which where there are a lot of money. So to be done. Germans are richer than Italians. If you didn't know, you can tell.
No, I do.
We spend a lot of wine. We spend a lot of money on wine and food.
So when you're doing your niche research, how do you decide what niches are viable and which ones are not?
Very good question. It's a lot of experience there because I tried a lot of different things. So usually I've already tried it in a small way. Something that I'm gonna reveal some secrets here. They're not real secrets, but that's what I do. I try to check on Flippa, for instance. That's very usual strategy, by the way. I check on Flippa or other website to see if a website is already making money for some inspiration, because then the niche is already proven. I tried some parasite SEO. So to check the conversion rate, I get a parasite, medium.com, something like that, and I just try to rank it as quickly as possible. I test out the conversion rate and see what happens. You cannot do it every time though. Depends on the niche and how competitive it is. Usually I've already been there and I know what is going on, or I just saw someone being successful and at it, and I know that they are running that side. So okay, I can do the same, and I just check what they have done and try to reverse engineer it. But yeah, it's usually just a lot of experience. I tried a lot of different niches, and that was cool. Like having an authority side is great because of that, because I started to realize what was working best or not. But yes, you cannot escape the fact of that you're gonna make mistakes.
Do you do any like keyword research when you're picking a niche?
Yeah. I use Ahrefs and I try to understand whether the niche it's seriously too competitive. If I see that there are some niche sites that are already ranking for competitive keywords with low domain authority, I'm like, okay, I can go for it. I can build more links because that's my specialty. Otherwise, in general, I check the keyword difficulty, but I'm not too afraid about it, because the cool thing of niche site is that if you have the high topical relevancy, you can rank for keywords like keyword difficulty 32 as of Ahrefs, things like that. It's not too uncommon, even with not so many backlinks, just because pure authority.
Gotcha. Yeah. So whenever I'm verifying a niche, the keywords are probably the first thing I look at. And I would say most niches that I look at are, say, affiliate or ad sites, like the content site model, with the intention of making money as an affiliate or running ads. So what that means is on my keyword research, I'll open up the Ahrefs Keyword Explorer, and I don't trust keyword difficulty as far as I can throw it. Like you mentioned, even with topical relevance, you can rank for like KD 32 on a relatively weak in use site. Like, okay, then keyword difficulty is probably not the best metric to use. But I like to use it in kind of broad strokes. So I have a video on this on YouTube if anyone wants to just search BrandBuilders keyword research. But what you can see is that I set like a KD max of say 10 to 15. If it's a new site, I like to set it to 10. And then I like to include the words either best or review. And then that kind of filters, like that adds all the affiliate content I can get in there. And then, of course, info content is a very similar process, just without best and review. And then I like to look at the SERPs, which is why I recommend Ahrefs as opposed to, I know Uber suggests is free, but you get what you pay for. Because I like to look at the SERPs and check domain ratings and check how many referring domains that they have. And if I can find enough of those, like enough low competition keywords with low domain rating sites ranking on the first page that don't have any referring domains, then I say, okay, that's a viable niche.
Yeah, now that I think about it more, it's actually pretty similar. Like what I do all day, every day, is just if I see a nice niche site, I just put it on Ahrefs and see what is the authority, the keywords is ranking, the traffic value, and I do this every freaking day. That's the one thing that I will never outsource, because you can only do this after you get experience and you tested several niches. And yeah, then I have a long list, man. If I will share this, it would be very valuable. I could perhaps sell it. I have a list of lots of sites that are ranking with a low authority or whatever, just like them. I think that there is space in niche. I realize that there is not so much competition compared to how much the products are worth. So yeah.
So do you take product worth in consideration when you're picking a niche?
Yeah. So I said before, I try to go for evergreen stuff, so supplements or whatever people buy out of the emotions, at least a little bit of emotions, because it's just quicker to do things right. There is less trust to build up in a certain way compared to selling software, which are great as well because they're recurring, but that's another story. Um, yeah, I do look at the product, and I don't want to go on products that cost too much generally, and that there is. I know that I can diversify the affiliate programs so that I'm not only reliant on one or two, but it's not mandatory. I'm thinking of a good site where you just run a certain product and there is just one seller. Basically, it's just run this guy and brand. So yeah, it's not mandatory. Very interesting way to find niches, by the way. Taking the slug of the URL of the Authority Hackers guys shared this, and I thought it was super smart. You can even take Amazon.com. You go on Ahrefs backlinks, and you just take the your you put the keyword how was it?
You put the Amazon link in there and then see who all's linking to Amazon. Yeah.
English, yeah. Put English and the ones with low authority that are getting at least a little bit of traffic, and you can put it on Ahrefs, like traffic, I don't know, 500. And that's the thing that made me realize how much potential there was in foreign SEO, because I saw this website that looked like they were built 10 years ago by my grandma that were ranking for high intent commercial keywords. So with domain authority 0, or sometimes it was domain authority n/a. There was no authority, and they were pulling like 500 visitors in for high intent with Amazon links. So I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can just build one link and perhaps start ranking them. Let's see.
Whoa,
but yeah, then I decided to not go too broad, and I was like, let's focus on the ones with the highest potential. Mm-hmm. I think that's smart, but very easy to get distracted with this, because then you start seeing a lot of things. So yeah, generally seeing a competitor that is doing well with a low authority, it's something that I will say, okay, let's go on. Let's put it on my secret list of sites with that could be potentially open in the future.
Is that ever a plan for you in the future to start like your own internet marketing blog or something like that? Sell this stuff? Like you're really good at it. Honestly, okay, so you're better than some very well-known people with very big email lists who teach this stuff. I can think of, there's one name in particular I can think of who is a shark, and you're much better at this than he is.
Wow.
I'll tell you after the call. Yeah.
Now I feel oh my god, how do you say it in English? Anyway, I'm feeling the 11 p.m. hours, the time that is 11 p.m. Yeah, no, I'm happy to hear that. It's just this week, two people asked me to make a course, an SEO course, and the thing is, I don't really like to be on the spotlight, because I believe it will distract me from actually doing the stuff. And as a person, you know what's weird? Something I realized, there is a huge difference between what you like doing in your personal life and what you like doing as a job. Like, I like writing in my personal life. I don't really like writing as a job. I like talking with a lot of people in my personal life. I'm incredibly extrovert, but I don't like doing opinion on this call. I like the other, like sales calls and all these things. I don't feel too much motivated and excited about it. I will do it if I have to do it, but yeah.
That's one thing that's interesting, and I think people mess up a lot, is that they start a business in something that they're passionate about. And when it's like this weird thing, once we start doing something we're passionate about for money, it's easy to stop being passionate about it. So my horror story in this is that I used to love writing. I'd write fiction stories, I'd write nonfiction. I think by the time I was 20, I had written like 3 or 4 like books, like book-sized manuscripts. I hadn't published any of them because they weren't very good, but I loved it, you know. And then I start doing freelance writing as a career, and I do that for pretty close to a year. And at the end of that year, I was just sick of it. I could not. Right, I actually had a really great job offer with a pretty well-known software company, and some of it was stringent. Or some of it depended on me writing, and I just told them, like, guys, I'm sorry. I used to love this, and I can't do it anymore, which is just brutal. And that's what it sounds like. You're like, the conclusion that you're coming to is like, you enjoy this, but if you start doing it for money, then there's always that possibility you're not going to love it anymore.
Yeah, so much. So weird in a way, but that's what it is. Just learn it once you try it. That's the thing about business. You gotta learn. You gotta try the thing to see if whether what happens. It's very hard. Like, it's great I listened to your interview this morning while I was running, and you talked about cutting the learning curve through mentors, which I agree 100%. You talked about giving a lot of value, which I agree 100%.
Did you disagree with anything?
No, actually, no. Well, kind of hard to disagree. You kept it a very, high level.
I find that the less I speak, the more people agree with me.
So it's great to have mentors, but the mentors cannot tell you what you actually have to do, because you just need to figure it out yourself. But yeah, mentors can save a lot of time and trials and errors, but sometimes, just gotta try and make the mistake.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned, like, you're working with a guy right now. Is he serving as sort of your mentor?
Pardon?
You mentioned that you're working with a guy right now. Is he sort of serving as your mentor?
In a way, yeah. I'm very happy to be working with him. I met him randomly. That's the cool thing. You travel a lot, and I was traveling quite a bit, I have to say, but it wasn't until I went to Lisbon that I seriously found a community of people who were supporting me, that were into some weird things that only online entrepreneurs are usually into. Like, we have very weird meetups. I'm not talking about kinky stuff. I'm talking about mental models. Yeah, like, literally, it sounds boring, but we had a meetup talking about mental models and critical thinking, which is very exciting for me. And I never met so many people that I could share this thing with. That is my obsession. Like, I think about this all the time, because it's just what I like. Like, this business is what I like. And just met this guy, and look, he's so humble. His name is Yanis. I can't pronounce his surname still to this day, because partially because I don't know German, completely because I don't know German. And it's just great. Very humble person. He's making some very interesting numbers. And when I was talking with him, I was like, "Oh, this guy must be smart." But it wasn't until he showed me his own website and he put it on Ahrefs, and I was like, "Oh my god, he got like this." If I'm good at backlinks in link building, man, this guy's on another level. He got crazy backlinks. In the middle of 1 year, I guess, if I remember well, he went to domain rating 70, something like that, in the middle of 1 year.
In a year?
Really big backlinks from very big website in the German market, though, which is a little bit more untapped. It's way more untapped than the US market. And perhaps 68, domain rating 60. Anyway, I don't want to say something weird, but yeah, very high domain rating. You know what happened to me? Like, last year when I met him, I realized that there was. Now I'm gonna get dramatic, but where I grew up, everyone, no one was doing these kind of things. Well, no one was entrepreneurial. My hometown, everyone, the biggest aspiration is becoming a doctor or a lawyer. So And when I went to university, it wasn't better than that. People were way more ambitious in my university, but their ambition was getting into consulting or becoming investment bankers, which didn't really resonate with me. So I felt like a black sheep the whole time, and I was constantly questioning whether what I was doing was correct, which was dragging me down so much. It was like I wanted to move forward, but there was myself that was bringing me back. So I was just wasting a lot of time, a lot of energy doubting myself. And it wasn't until I met Yanis that I realized, well, I can actually make a freaking ton of money doing this thing. And it was like, the 100 miles, there was an athlete that no one was breaking the 100 miles record until this athlete broke it. And the day after, everyone started breaking it. So
Yeah.
that was a realization for me. And since then, it wasn't the same. I started to seriously dig in the affiliate community. That's when I discovered Matt Diggity. I subscribed immediately to the affiliate lab. Started to listen to every podcast I could about the topic, and just immersing myself in this industry. And that's what I still do to this day. And when I see Matt Diggity and all of these people like doing incredible numbers that you couldn't, like, I see my friends who are now investment bankers, and they are, and I respect their choice if that's what they really want to do, but it's very incredibly stressful and not so fulfilling, honestly, on a basis, on objectively speaking. Like, you need to work from 9 to midnight every day, or to have a family, or to take some time off. And there is not so much purpose behind it. For some people there is. Don't want to judge, or it's just different for everyone. But you can make so much more money with this, and well, I'm like, it's just nicer, and yeah.
Yeah, for real. What's that?
Yeah, the niche sites are nicer. I mean, obviously speaking, it's way more passive as a business model. So now go on BrandBuilders and under your own niche site.
Yeah, feel free. Yeah. So what future plans for you? What do you plan on doing next?
Taking a vacation is the first next step, because it's been very rough, especially the last week with the sale of this website. Lots of negotiation at 10 p.m. And still today, I spent 6 hours consecutively with this new buyer. We had to transfer all of the affiliate accounts, talk about strategy and things like that. So I'm gonna take a vacation next week. See things with perspective. Finally, going away from lockdown Italy, going to the mountains with my girlfriend. Yeah, okay. I don't wanna talk too much. Now I'm talking too much about me. Next plan. I don't know. My vision, I realized along the way that I was not feeling challenged enough by doing just niche sites and keeping everything as passive as possible, which was fantastic. The first year was crazy. Like, I took 1 month off, enjoyed life finally, and feeling free. At the same time, I wasn't feeling challenged, so I felt like I need to build up something bigger. And I don't know where I will stop. I don't know if there will be a moment when I will say, okay, I build enough, I just want to rest and leave it as it is. And I see many people in the industry, that's what they're doing when they hit like 100K a month. Or perhaps I don't know if maybe I will get there and say, okay, I want to build something like Red Ventures or this big media company. I was getting very inspired. I was reading this big acquisition of CNET by Red Ventures, and all of these sites that are doing big moves, and they are practically just affiliate sites on steroids. with big teams, big funding. And so I have no idea. Like, I like doing business. So I'm afraid that if I don't get challenged enough, I just get bored and things start to decrease in a way in my business. So let's see. That's the plan, to keep growing as a person and as a business owner.
Gotcha. Cool, man. That's exciting. So you're talking about kind of becoming a media company. So are your future plans in continuing to produce these niche or authority sites?
Yes. So look, I realized that I've always been fascinated by media companies. It's kind of like when I met my girlfriend, and like when everyone meets their girlfriend or future wife or actual wife. It's like that weird feeling where there is nothing too special on the surface. Like, you can really find, you can say, she's smart, she's very pretty, she has this thing that I really like, but you cannot really explain why you like something. And for me, media it's just really fascinates me to this day. If I enter in a newspaper stand, if I step by a newspaper stand, I'm like, I look at magazines and I get excited and like, wow, that's so fascinating. Just fascinates me. I don't know why. So the idea is to build up a media company from here right now. Also because I realized that my business is too dependent on me. And I was thinking more and more, what if I cannot work for a month? What things will happen? Sure, revenues will remain pretty much there. Maybe they will decrease, but they will not grow, probably. So I'm looking to gradually build up more independence for the business, and eventually, getting bigger and bigger, selling my soul to some investors, maybe. Let's see. No, I don't know. Let's see. That's why I really respect Felix Dennis. Fantastic book. I'm just reading it. Highly suggested.
What's it called?
He has 2 books. How to Get Rich. Sounds cheesy, but this guy was real self-made man. He built up publications like Maxim and The Week, which are very popular to this day.
Yeah.
And the one that I'm reading right now is called The Narrow Road. And it's just the sequel of the first one. Great guy.
Whoa, what's his name? I might put this in the description.
Felix Dennis. I think people in the affiliate game will learn a lot out of him. His company is still active nowadays. Felix Dennis Publishing. He died some years ago. But yeah, really, really nice guy, and he speaks so bluntly about the game of business, which I think it's so hard to find this kind of books, because most of the books you get is just people who are not really in the trenches, and they just write a book about freaking personal branding, but their job is just talking about personal branding. I don't like this. You need to have built something to speak to me, because there is a huge difference between walking the talk and talking the walk.
Yeah, for sure. And there are, I think business books are in an interesting place right now, where there's never been more information available, but there's no good, I call it like boring information. So there's a lot of like hypey stuff, or like motivational stuff, or, make $1 billion a month in network marketing or whatever. But there's very few resources that, like books that I can pull out when I need to know how to, say, grow a business or free up my time. Not like 4-hour work week. I'll just hire a VA and it'll fix itself. But actual step-by-step guides. There's very little information out there. So I think when successful business owners can write something like that, there's probably a unmet need there. That's one of my plans for the future. Is once BrandBuilders grows up some more, and then my other venture, SiteBuddy, I've actually got this list of book topics where I'm like, look, there are no good resources here, and I don't have the credentials to write these yet. I'm getting there, but I think once my companies grow, then I'll be a little bit more qualified. But that's in my plans for the future. It's like the world needs better resources.
if you feel like doing it, I think it's fantastic. Like, imagine if Felix Dennis would have not shared this book, I would have been, I would have. Look, I learned so much. It's like literally having your grandpa sharing all of his mistakes, and your grandpa was eventually doing exactly what you would like to build up. So, yeah. It's just fantastic. There are some resources somehow very hard to find. I figured because there are a lot of very cool entrepreneurs who are either too formal on how they explain things, so they get boring. Even for me, even if I know them and so on, and some other ones that are just plainly borderline scammers. Look, you will never say it, but Ty Lovitz is, I actually respect this guy. He's building some interesting things. And you look at him and it's like, well, this guy is so cheesy, and he is sometimes. But when he get, like, I got one of his courses, weird story. Actually, I don't know if I could share this.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I think Ty Lovett's team is not listening to this. So what happened is that I ordered his book. I saw his ad and I was like, oh, let's order this book. It's $15. I pre-ordered his book, never came yet. But I got, because of a bug in his system, one of his courses for free. And I started watching it and I was like, well, this guy is a freaking genius. And he's just covering the broccoli with cheese when he shows the Lamborghinis and all of these things. The issue is, how can you understand when someone is covering the broccoli with cheese, or the guy is just plain, scammer who is teaching you how to make money by teaching people how to make money.
Yeah. So one of the owners of BrandBuilders, I don't know how much I can disclose here. He's buddies with Ty Lopez, and he swears that Ty Lopez is one of the smartest guys in any rooms he walks into. And I've kind of caught wind of one of the deals they're doing. So I have a really interesting business model where they're pretty much like, I really don't know how much I can share here, where they're kind of like revamping old businesses. And to hear the part owner, BrandBuilder, talk about it, my friend, doing really well.
Man, like, it's all over the news, actually. It's already very public. It was on the Wall Street Journal the other day. They bought Dress Barn.
Yeah.
These big chains. I don't really remember the others because I'm not in the US, but they I know that they are very, like, big brands, that they are, people in the US know them. A company that used to be public. Look, you can tell that this guy is very smart, but only if you buy the courses. The issue is you cannot buy the courses of everyone until you freaking get there. But I actually started following him before he was so cheesy. So he got me a really good book suggestion on Shortness of Life by Seneca, with completely game changer for my life, best book I ever read.
Wow.
And that was thanks to him. Which again sounds really weird, because when you say I actually respect Ty Lopez, this guy's so controversial because of his Lamborghini ad that, but yeah, it's a cool one. Kind of hard to get to understand who to trust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, love him or hate him, you probably know his name. The haters sell.
You understand his target market. At least it's not dull. At least it's not boring to watch.
Yes, he's not boring. You can say anything you want about Ty Lopez, but boring is probably not the right description for his ads. That's awesome, man. So, dude, some kind of rapid fire questions for you. So, what is one tool that you just cannot live without?
Ahrefs.
Yeah, dude, boys, everyone says that because it's just a freaking awesome tool. And now they're doing like the free thing as well. Which I think just came out like yesterday or something, a couple days ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, a couple of days ago.
Yeah, which is wild. And then, so what's something that you're reading or consuming right now?
I told you before, is Felix Dennis Narrow Road. Has a different name on Kindle, which I don't remember, but yeah, I can just find it.
That's cool. I'll put his name in the description there. What's the most successful strategy that you've done this year that someone can replicate? Other than selling a site for 5 figures, that's a pretty sweet strategy to me. Wish I could replicate that one.
I wouldn't call it a strategy, but yeah, that was a good success. Certainly some breathing for my finances. Yeah, switching from Amazon links to private deals. It's very easy to do. There are so many direct affiliate commissions in most niches, and dude, I literally that's what I talked about in the flip guest post. Literally from $90, the site went on to make $500, and that was a five pages site that I built up, and I literally ordered the content and just published them. And $500, like a month, that's quite a lot. That was a huge success, and got me to realize always go direct, at least for the first and the second offer. And only if the page actually gets traffic, because it's just a waste of time if you're not getting the traffic.
Yeah, no sense in optimizing what isn't working.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I guess a better way to say that one, no sense in optimizing what's not getting traffic. Is probably the best way to say that.
Yeah,
there you go. And then what's a great business that you think doesn't exist today?
Well, so many. In our industry, something that I would really wish it would exist, it's plagiarism checker that automatically translated in like 10 languages, because I'm sure that a lot of writers are out there trying to sell me content that they translated from another language, and because they didn't want to make the research out of laziness. So I would prefer to avoid that, to avoid any risk. But right now it's just incredibly time consuming. I have to automatically translate the stuff, which I do if I doubt it, if I don't completely trust the writer. But yeah, and many other things. If you wanna hear them,
I think that was pretty well a bombshell. Like that makes so much sense. I've never thought about that. And we have writers, but no, I've never thought, like, what if someone's picking this up in Spanish or German and then translating it, and like it's still stolen.
If you see Italy, if you see SEO in Italy, it's literally, I think 50% of the sites are copying content from English and translating it.
Whoa.
And it just annoys me that someone might do this to me, and it actually puts you on risk on a legal level. So yeah.
Awesome. And then any closing words of advice for anyone watching, listening?
Don't be afraid of failing. Just do the things. That's the only thing to look. Failures and taking massive actions is what you see in every successful person, in every person who actually gets what they want. So a bias per action supported by a mentor or someone that has already been there, which you don't have to completely trust, because everyone has his own path and, use your instinct and intelligence. Bias for action plus guidance, which, interesting enough, now it's getting to promotion towards brand builders, but I like your concept that you do offer coaching. You're still offering, right?
Yeah, with every purchase comes with free coaching and consulting.
Yeah, I think it's great, because do the mistakes, but if you can avoid them, that's something Ty Lopez will say, by the way. Get mentors.
Yeah, it's huge. Mentors is a game changer. Someone who's successful to look over your work and review it is just game changing. Awesome. Well, cool, man. Thanks so much for hopping on. I'll end the recording here.